Hey guys, welcome to Digit.in, and today we're going to talk about 5 settings that you should definitely change to get the most out of your television. So if you're someone that's looking to exploit all the features your TV has to offer, these settings might be very important for you. And before we get started, why don't you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you're notified when we upload a new video. The first tip that we're going to talk about here is the picture presets. Now, when you switch on your television, it has picture presets like standard, movie, sports, user, vivid, and many more. And all these picture settings actually change the color profile, change the color temperature of your television to suit the kind of content that you're consuming. So if let's say you're consuming content like news or everyday TV shows, then it's okay to leave your TV on standard, which might have a slightly cooler color temperature and works well for the kind of everyday content you're going to use. But if you are going to play, let's say, movies, or you're going to consume content in HDR, then you might want to consider switching to the cinema or the movie preset of your TV, because that changes the color temperature to warm and also tries to accurately represent the content as it would be in a movie. Now, some of the high-end TVs have content like Netflix calibrated mode, which you're more than welcome to check out, but most televisions overall have the standard slew of content, standard slew of presets such as standard, movie, vivid, sometimes movies called cinema, user, sports, and more. And as the name suggests, you should switch to these based on the kind of content you're watching. Now, some TVs, the vivid profile really highly accentuates the colors, and some of you may like that content, but know that usually in a vivid profile there is some loss of detail. So that is also something to keep in mind. I would suggest keep switching the presets back and forth to find the one that suits your need the best. The second tip that I have is to switch off motion flow. Now, I really don't like the artificial smoothening that is brought about by motion flow or MEMC or ultra smoothening or whatever these television brands call it, because what it does is it adds frames in the content to make it look like it is flowing really smoothly. Now, for some of you that watch sports content, that might be good because you really don't get to see the motion blur between fast moving objects, but I don't like that. I like to see it at its native frame rate. When it's movies, it's shot in 25 frames per second. That's 24 because it's 0 to 24, so it's actually 25 frames per second. And that is how I like to watch content, because that's what it's shot in. So if you like, you can go into the settings of your TV and switch off motion flow. If you're someone that's really used to watching content with motion flow on, it might seem a little jarring at the beginning, but trust me when I tell you, it's much better to watch content without motion flow enabled. Moving over to the third point, and this is for you gamers out there, switch on game mode. Yes, there are a lot of times when you go and connect your gaming console to the TV and the TV automatically recognizes it and switches on the game mode, but you should also go into the settings and double check if game mode is enabled. What game mode does is it usually, or it's supposed to cut out any form of post-processing that happens on pictures, be it dynamic noise reduction or MPEG noise reduction or accentuated contrast or whatever it is. It's supposed to go and switch those off so that the console can produce the colors that it is getting from the content, be it on the disk or on the hard drive that the game is stored, and representing it as it should be. It also helps reduce input lag. So when you're watching regular content, you're really not interacting with the TV, so input lag is not a problem. But when you're gaming, every second counts, right? So you really need to get the best input lag, and that is one of the primary reasons for switching on game mode. So if you have a TV that does not recognize your gaming console when you switch to the HDMI source, you may want to go in and ensure that game mode is enabled when you start gaming. The next one that we're going to move to is to switching on HDMI 2.1 or ultra deep color or enhanced mode, whatever these TVs call it. Now, for example, like we've seen on the X85J or the X90J, you have to go into the settings and switch on the enhanced mode so that you get HDMI 2.1 enabled on the Sony TVs. On the LG TV, for example, it's ultra HD deep color to ensure that you're getting HDMI 2.1 bandwidth. On the Xiaomi TVs, for example, to get ALLM, which is an HDMI 2.1 feature, you have to go into the settings and manually go into HDMI 2.1. So if you have an HDMI 2.1 enabled TV, don't presume that this feature is going to come on automatically. You may want to go into the settings of the TV and ensure it's switched on. And then, like we're showing you right now on the PS5, for example, on the X85J or the X90J that we recently reviewed, you can see that the HDR is in RGB HDR, and we are getting 4K gaming at 120 Hz. Similarly, for a budget TV like the Mi TV, which boasts of HDMI 2.1, you should be able to see YUV 422 HDR and 60 Hz 4K. So remember that to get this, you need to go into the TV settings and sometimes switch on HDMI 2.1 manually. Last but not least is auto brightness or auto backlighting. What this essentially does is it switches the backlighting of the TV based on the ambient light in the room, and me personally, I found that when I switch this on, the backlighting goes way dimmer than I would like it. So I'm someone that goes and switches off auto backlighting and then controls the backlighting manually to the point where I know that I'm getting all the details on screen, because when the backlighting is lower than you would like, then in dark sequences you do lose out a lot of details, and even in the bright highlights sometimes you can see some clipping in bright highlights, especially when auto brightness is enabled. So you may want to go and switch off the auto backlighting or the auto brightness and then control these settings manually to the point where you would like them. Personally, I would suggest leaving backlighting at about 100 and forgetting about it, because in most situations you do want those punchy highlights in bright sequences and you want to be able to make out the dark sequences as well. So there you have it. These were 5 settings on your TV that you should definitely consider changing or at least checking out to make the most of the black mirror hanging on your wall. Thank you so much guys for watching, and for more from the world of technology, you can subscribe to the channel. We will catch you in another video. It's goodbye for now.